Hotline, presented by Sullivan Super Service, Pittsburgh's trusted plumbing and HVAC provider for over 50 years. Chris Carter of the Post-Gazette and the Locked On Steelers podcast will join us on the hotline momentarily. But Dorin broke some news to me during the break. You knew it. You knew I was going to do this. You just got followed on Instagram by Sarah Palin?
Yeah. Yep.
Famously of, I can see Russia from my house.
Yeah.
One of the all-time political quotes.
Yeah.
Who's next, Howard Dean? Gah! I did think Sarah Palin was kind of a babe back in the day.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Do you think she's following you, like looking for shirtless pics or something?
I don't
what's
know.
going on there?
And I'm just like out of a nowhere follow. You can see people who they follow. Like, I have no connection to anything or anybody that she follows. And it's just like me.
And this was before you went on CNN.
Correct.
Unreal.
Yeah. Maybe it's a calling. Maybe I should get into the political world.
Maybe you should. Maybe get them to salt the streets faster.
Yeah.
Chris Carter joins us now. Chris, who's the most famous person who follows you on Instagram?
What just happened? What was that? Like, we went from following Sarah Palin to she's a babe to, I don't know, maybe that's a good sign for me to get into politics. What just happened?
we have issues.
You know who followed me on Instagram?
Who?
Miss America, the old Miss America, because we met at the softball game, and I prevented her from getting hit in the face with a softball.
No, she didn't.
She did. She follows me right now.
No.
Miss America.
No, she doesn't.
I don't think she's Miss America anymore. Or is it like being a Marine? If you're Miss America, you're always Miss America. I don't know.
I think it's like you're a reigning Miss America, yeah.
Yeah. Former Miss America? It doesn't matter. Hey, Chris, the Steelers are talking to Anthony Weaver as we speak, according to Diana Rossini. Good candidate, question mark?
I like Anthony Weaver. He's not my top choice, but I mean, he's a guy that if like Chris Shula doesn't pick the Steelers, I think that is their top candidate. I would say that Anthony Weaver, he's not in his 30s, but he's a mid 40s guy age wise, but he's a guy that seems to generate a room. I've heard comparisons to him being like Dan Campbell-ish as far as how he likes to lead teams, likes to fire guys up. People want to believe in what he's doing. He'd be a fresh head coach, his first opportunity. And I got to say, like, the thing that I liked about him was, when I looked at the Dolphins and how they played fast and physical, and they weren't always, on every P and Q, but when they were flying and they were hitting, like, that was the energy that they brought, and that was the thing that I thought made them the most competitive. And this is a guy who was a D-line coach, a pass rusher coach. I think he's about that type of football, and that's very much in line with who the Steelers have wanted to be historically, right? So I think that part of it could be a good fit. But personally, I just think when I look at the resumes of how people stack up, how they've grown through college football and then the NFL, I like Chris Shula's resume the most, and I'm curious to get him in the building and see what he would be able to do and how he'd be able to evolve what the Steelers coaching legacy could be.
Hey, I think most of everybody really here in Pittsburgh, and especially us here on the show, are in favor of Chris Shula being the number one guy for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But does Mike McCarthy make any sense in any shape or form? Like, if you miss out on Shula, is Mike McCarthy the kind of clear-cut option to facilitate the head coaching spot?
Not a clear cut. I think Mike McCarthy is a break glass in case of emergency. Okay. Let's say Chris Shula is like, sorry guys, I want to go coach Josh Allen or whatever, and then Anthony Weaver is like, sorry guys, I got other plans, and then Brian Flores does that. I think Mike McCarthy is more like the fourth or fifth guy that they're actually looking at here. And here's the double appeal of Mike McCarthy. It could be a situation where it's like, hey, you got a relationship with him because he's a longtime coach. He's a Pittsburgh guy. You could say, hey, Mike, you're here for a short time, not a long time. Get us 2 good years. Get, maybe we bring back Aaron for one more season, and then you can help set the stage as an offense for the franchise quarterback that we eventually draft. And if it's going great, maybe we do keep you. But, this is this is not like they're not making. If they hired Mike McCarthy, it wouldn't be for the aim for him to be the next Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin. It would be hey, we struck out in this coaching hiring process. Let's get a guy that we know can get teams to the playoffs and has won a Super Bowl. And maybe he brings back Aaron Rodgers and we can just sustain for another year or two. And then maybe we jump back into a head coaching process where we see guys that we really like. I think that's where Mike McCarthy stands in this coaching race.
Chris Carter joining us here on the Fan Morning Show. It is 8:05. Time to check out 9 Yards Golf Lounge, now open at the Block Northway in Ross Township. Your thoughts on the Ravens hiring Jesse Minter, Chris?
I thought that was really interesting. I like Jesse Minter. Thoughts on the Ravens. I like Jesse Minter. I thought that he was a good coordinator for the Chargers. What happened here? Why is
you had a very bizarre exhale, like you didn't want to either answer a question on Jesse Minter or that you're just exasperated by our nonsense.
No, sorry, that's my asthma. I've been wheezing for like 2 months now. Okay. Sorry about that.
Well, you want to take an inhaler, Chris? Are you getting that checked out?
No, I got my inhaler right here.
Okay, good. I grew up asthmatic. Yeah. It's not fun.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I had asthma as a kid. It got triggered in the extreme cold about after the Dolphins game, and it's just hung around ever since. Yeah, it's been not great. But on Jesse Minter, I think that I think he was a good coordinator. I feel like the Ravens, I don't know which direction they're going to go. I feel like there's a chance that they could try to do some sort of a rebuild. There's rumors of Lamar Jackson wanting to be gone so that he can get a fresh start. I don't know how true those are. If they're trying to win right now, I think what Minter could bring is they struggled on defense this last year. If he could bring a new defensive vision and say, hey, we're going to tighten up this defense, I think the Ravens still have very much the potential to be a Super Bowl contender right now with Lamar Jackson. If Derrick Henry sticks around, if Kyle Hamilton continues to grow and other guys on that team continue to grow, but they need someone to put that defense together. If that defense is the way it was this past year, they're not going to be able to be in that list. They're going to, even if they get to the playoffs, they'll kind of end up like the Bills and just outplayed by more complete rosters. So I think that's where Jesse Minter could really help them. But again, I like Minter, but I don't know if that's going to be that easy to put together. And if Lamar Jackson ends up either going somewhere else or he doesn't get receiver help, I feel like they'll be kind of where they are. And especially because Lamar Jackson's salary cap number is going to make it really hard to build and sign around him to complete the roster. So a lot of complications there. But I like Minter as a coach.
Chris, is there a dark horse that may pop up in the recent coming days for the Pittsburgh Steelers head coaching job that maybe you've been keeping your eye out on that might be a guy that's like, oh, okay, well, nobody has been talking about him. Let's see what this is.
When Brian Baldinger brought up Mario Cristobal, I was like, excuse me? What? That was the left field. That was the dark horse that I was like, because I was thinking the same thing as you, Dorin. Like, is there a secret candidate somewhere? Is there someone who's going to walk in and just be like, wait a minute, that's the guy? I don't know if Cristobal is that guy, but I do feel like there could be something else at play for the Steelers. But I also know this, guys, like, if that person's walking through the door, they're running out of time. Like, the Steelers, the Senior Bowl's next week. They want to make sure, Andy Weidel just got interviewed by the Falcons. I doubt he goes to that job. I think he stays in Pittsburgh, but their draft process is already underway as far as who they've scouted. Now they want to go talk to these players. And to me, a huge part of what the team has been doing, since before Mike Tomlin is coaches get to be part of that process all through the draft process. They get to talk to players, establish that connection. I want to get my head coach so that when he goes to Mobile, when he goes to the combine, when he goes everywhere and he's getting a sense of the guys he's scouting out, he's starting to get that feel for guys he's bringing into the organization, especially the first guys that he's part of bringing into the organization. So I think if there's a dark horse, they need to be revealed very, very soon, because I don't think they get through the end of next week and don't have a head coach.
If it is Chris Shula, Can you roll forward with the roster build that you have right now? Schematically, do the guys you have fit, or do you need to start making dramatic personnel changes on that side of the ball?
Well, here's what I say to that is that great coaches and good coaches, they fit their schematics around what you have. And they adjust what they do. Mike Tomlin wasn't a 3-4 coach when he got to the Steelers. He came and he said they said Dick LeBeau's system works, and he said Dick LeBeau's system works, and he never changed it. I remember that was one of the things that early on I would always read that, like, oh, Mike Tomlin's eventually going to change us to a 4-3. He's got to make us. He's got an eagle. He's crazy. And then it literally never happened over 19 years. And so I think if Chris Shula comes, he's going to adapt to what they have and what their vision is in the front office, and he's going to bring it. But where he might bring is those complexities, like, new ways to simulate pressures and to fake blitzes from this direction that can lead you into these types of coverages. That's where I think that he could do it. And he'll also bring the connections that he brings from the Sean McVay tree. So I think there's a chance for him to come in and work with what they got. Now, here's the thing that I think is good about this is I think this is a really good core to have on your side right now, because there's a lot of young players on this team. You have a young offensive line, 4 guys all on their rookie deals. You have young guys like Keanu Benton, Derek Harmon, Joey Porter Jr., even Patrick Queen's like 26. Like, they have a lot of moldable players for the foreseeable future that they can kind of keep around the roster, make the new nucleus moving forward on top of the leadership that's already there. And at the same time, they could create cap space rather easily right now if they really want to. They have about 30, according to overthecap.com, they have about $37.7 million in cap space. If they let go of Jonnu Smith, which I think is a given at this point, that's an extra $7 million. That gets you like 44 to 45 million. If you look at Jalen Ramsey's contract, the way that he was signed to Pittsburgh, he's a $19.5 million cap hit. And as much as, unless they think that he's about to turn something really special for them next year, you can either renegotiate with him and say, hey, we want you around, but not for that price, or you cut him outright. And then that's basically like $20 million just slapped into this. And you could jump up to $65 million-ish that we're talking about in cap space that can be used to re-sign Nick Herbig, re-sign Joey Porter Jr., re-sign Keanu Benton, and or add more free agency talent. But that's something that you talk to your head coach about. And that's where I think this roster could be very attractive, is that you could be like, hey, there's young pieces I could really like that I could build around, and there's wiggle room and cap space to work with. And that's not necessarily the case for these teams with their franchise quarterbacks locked in, like Lamar Jackson, who's a $75 million cap hit next year.
It's never not going to be funny, some of these cap hits, particularly one Deshaun Watson in Cleveland. Chris, this was wonderful. Get yourself some albuterol, pal. I hate that for you. It really sucks. I always sound sarcastic, but I'm being sincere, and good luck with that, pal.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you having me on.
Thanks,
Take care, buddy. I wish I didn't ask him about the breath. You got the asthma.
Yeah.
My sister had to get breathing treatments growing up. My daughter had to get one the other day. She got the flu real bad.
Your sister did?
My daughter did, but my sister used to get it all the time.
Yeah, she did used to get it all the time.